CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the New Orleans Saints against the Los Angeles Rams.
Welcome to Anaheim Stadium in Los Angeles, California. And in the background, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion of our national anthem.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Crowd of 50,000 plus gathered here on a gorgeous December afternoon, week 14 of the National Football League season, for this encounter between the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Rams. Both teams still involved in wild card playoff possibilities. The Rams much more so a realistic possibility than are the New Orleans Saints. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Terry Bradshaw. Terry, this has been a tumultuous week again in New Orleans. They were demolished by the Niners in the second half last week. Their owner, John Mecom, said, "Color me gone. I'm fed up. The team is for sale." Now, if you're a player, in the midst of all this tumultuousness, how do you handle yourself?
Well, you laugh like I'm doing right now. I like that word, color me gone. I've never seen that color, but anyway, he said it, so he must mean it. As a player, though, I'd say, well, heck, I never seen him play it down or hit a soul, and I wouldn't worry about it. But in talking to the Saints, they said, hey, you know, they've given up on us. We still think we have a chance. We're going to go out there today. And the Rams, we hope they've given up on us, so we're going to go out there and take this game away from them. By golly, you watch and see. So we'll see.
Now, of course, compounding their problems, they've got to get ready for Eric Dickerson, who is chasing O.J. Simpson's single-season record. How do you get ready to stop a man like this?
Well, you can make a big mistake, I think, when you put all your eggs in one basket. And their eggs today are going to be in stopping Eric Dickerson. Now, what they're going to do is put Whitney Paul, 51, and they're going to mirror him on Goodman, number 44, as he leads for Dickerson on their blocking. Now, when they do that, they'll bring their safeties up. And Bird, quite honestly, while they stop Dickerson, they'll have a hard time stopping their receivers.
All right, Terry, we're set to go. It's a gorgeous day, 74 degrees. And the Rams won the earlier encounter between these two teams 28-10 as Jeff Kemp tossed for 3 touchdowns in that victory. New Orleans has 1 to toss, and they will receive going from left to right. Mike Lansford is ready to kick off. Jitter Fields and Hokie Guyjon are the 2 deep men, or Tyrone Anthony it is, instead of Hokie Guyjon. Jitter Fields and Tyrone Anthony back at the goal line. Lansford has been bothered by a virus problem all week and had almost the same kind of an effect on him as mononucleosis might. They brought a couple of veteran kickers in just in case Mike could not go, but he's set to go. Jitter Fields at the 5. Back to the 19-yard line, from which point the Saints will put it in play, first down and 10. Offensive lineup for the New Orleans Saints. Richard Todd will start at quarterback. Hokie Guyjon and George Rogers in the backfield. The wide receivers will be Jeff Groth and Lindsey Scott, who is starting in place of an injured Tyrone Young. The offensive line at left tackle, Kelvin Clark. Brad Edelman at left guard. The center is John Hill. Steve Court back at right guard after an absence of a week. Stan Brock at right tackle. And the tight end is Hobie Brennan. First down and 10 from the 19. Backs in the eye. This is Jeff Groth in motion, number 86. Short man, Guyjon, big hole. And he may have enough for the first down out to the 30. Hokie has missed the last 2 weeks with a calf injury. Vince Newsom and Gary Green make the tackles defensively for Los Angeles. We're having a problem with our Chiron machine. That is the machine that puts the graphics up on the screen for you. So we'll verbally introduce the defensive lineup. Reggie Doss, Greg Meisner, and Jack Youngblood up on the front line. Mike Wilcher, Jim Collins, Carl Eckern, and Mel Owens, the linebackers. The corners are Leroy Urban and Gary Green. And the safeties, Vince Newsom and Johnny Johnson. First down, 10 Saints. Rogers with Guyjon in front to the 33-yard line. And the tackle made by number 58, Mel Owens. And number 55, Carl Eckern, 8-year man out of San Jose State.
Well, they're coming out right off the bat doing the things that we've seen them do all year long. They got good line charge. The right side of their line has played well. Their centers really come off the ball early, and they're dominating in this first series of downs, Vern.
Lindsey Scott comes wide to the right side. Second down and 7. Dodge on again. It'll be third and a long 5 yards as Mel Owens makes the tackle, and there is also a flag down.
Got a late flag there. Probably one of those unique holding calls, huh? It's a good job that time by the nose tackle, Greg Meisner, number 69. Young man out of Pittsburgh.
You watched him in college, didn't you?
You bet. Up there around New Kensington. Nice place.
There's Meisner now in his 4th year.
Holding, 62 offense, second down.
Got old Hill that time. John Hill, the center, number 62.
John Hill in his 13th year out of Lehigh. Did not expect to start most of this year. They were going to program Steve Court as a starting center, but they've had so many nicks and injuries in the offensive line that Hill has played much of the season.
Actually, their starting center is playing right guard for them today. Steve Court at right guard.
120!
Growth in motion, number 86. Todd with time looks for the screen pass. He'll be sacked.
Meisner.
That's the second sack for Meisner this year, and it is the 15th sack against the Saints in the last 2 games and a third of a quarter.
You know, what's really is unusual about this is not that he doesn't have the talent to make a sack, Vern, but just that rarely do nose tackles make sacks. Normally they'll put the center heel on him, maybe help out with a guard, either Edelman 63 or 60 Court, but hardly ever do you see a nose tackle make a sack. By golly, he did it then.
Greg Meisner had 1.5. He's now got 2.5 for the season, and it's third and Miles. Third down, 27. Gajan, the only setback. Rams adjust defensively. They send 4 men at Richard Todd. Still loose, but nobody open downfield, and he'll have to give it up at the 23-yard line.
I'll tell you, that is great hustle. You know, these guys take, like I was saying earlier, they get hit 2 or 3 times. Now watch this. Greg Meisner, the center of your screen, folks, 69, the old right hand, then Court pops him on. He goes around Court. Then Brock pops him on. He says, okay, now get away from you. Uh-oh, there goes Richard. Now I got to chase doggone. Now I got to run after Richard. And he runs, and by golly, he makes the tackle. Now that is great effort. Good, that's a good job there, Greg.
Back-to-back fine plays by Meisner. Brian Hansen will punt on 4th and 17. And Henry Ellard, who has returned for an average of 14.8 yards this season, as the kick is almost blocked. Ellard from the 33-yard line. Almost to the 45. And the Rams offense comes on the field as Jim Peterzak makes the tackle. That was a 43-yard kick, 12 on the return. Had a hang time of 4.5. We're early in the first quarter, no score. In the first month of the season, Vince Ferragamo injured a knuckle on the index finger of his throwing hand. He has not been back in since. And Terry, I don't know if he will play again this year.
Well, he's got a socket problem, and I talked to him yesterday. He said, gee, you know, it's just a lot of swelling. He said, I swear, I think I've got a bone growing out the side of my thumb. But this young man, Jeff Kent, number 9 there, played quarterback, and they're 73 with him at the throttle.
They kept it conservative last week. Kemp threw only 10 times. John Robinson said he'd like to have him throw 20 times today. He will not on first down. This is Eric Dickerson for a pickup of 6. Offensive backfield will have Kemp at quarterback, Eric Dickerson at the tailback spot, and David Hill is a last-minute replacement at the U-back spot, or up-back, for Mike Gooman. Gooman injured his finger, broke his finger, as a matter of fact, in practice. The tight end, James McDonald, Drew Hill at one wide receiver spot and Henry Ellard at the other. And the offensive line from left to right, Irv Pankey, Kent Hill, Doug Smith, Dennis Hara, and Bill Bain. John Robinson gave each of them a game ball for the victory over Tampa Bay last week. Second down and 3, just across midfield.
18, 85, 65,
Checking off.
65.
And he'll throw. Nope, tipped away by Tony Elliott, who is starting at Derlin Moore's spot at nose guard.
What happened then? He came up and saw the corners pressing Kemp, the quarterback. saw the corners up and the safeties were evenly split. They had a run on, so he checked off and tried to get the tight end down the middle, but there was good coverage, and the tight end actually didn't get loose. The linebacker did a good job of holding him up. Kemp couldn't get anyone open, finally threw the ball, and it was knocked away. One change here, I said earlier that Guman, number 44, would be the U-back. Actually, it's McDonald, number 83, Vern, who's playing the U-back, so that broken thumb is going to keep him out of this game.
That happened on Friday, and he really had problems with the cast. 3rd down and 3. Kemp with time, going deep, way downfield, incomplete. Intended for Drew Hill.
Well, this is what we had said earlier, was the fact that if they're going to stop the run, we're going to throw the pass. And Drew Hill, number 87, by golly, he had old Poe, Johnny Poe, 25, beaten. There's a pass, just barely missed his hand. Now, once again, what they did, 83, who was the U-back the time before, he went to the line of scrimmage as a tight end, and 81, Hill came to the U-back. So we'll probably see that all day long.
John Misko is on to punt, and he's had problems the last 2 games. He's averaged only 33 yards per kick his last 9 kicks. Matter of fact, Los Angeles brought Russell Erchleben into town earlier this week, just in case. Whoops.
There's the old flag.
Jitter Fields, you've got to give the man a chance to make the catch. And the Rams special teams did not.
You know, those guys are running down the field, and the coach says, look at the guy that's catching the receiving the punt. He'll tell you where the ball is. There it is, pushing, watch Jitter Fields. He gets the old hand up there, step. There's that right hand. Vern goes up, says, hold it, fellas, give me some room. I'm going to catch it. Don't touch me. Well, gee, I'm sorry. Run right into him, got a little flag.
It'll be called on Mike Pleasant. Here's Tom Dooley to explain.
Interference with the opportunity to make a catch. Number 43 and the kicker's 1st down.
Mike Pleasant, the rookie from Oklahoma, so New Orleans gets the ball for the 2nd time, and they've got the ball at their own 30-yard line. We're scoreless with 10:59 to go 1st quarter. Just under 11 minutes to go 1st quarter from Anaheim Stadium. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw, George Rogers and Hokie Gajan in the St. backfield as Richard Todd brings them up. 1st down and 10 from the 30. No score in the game.
Rogers and Gajan, running back.
Here's a rarity, the Saints throwing on 1st down. And going deep left side, Growth is open. 1st down at the 48-yard line. Well, there's a bit of a surprise, Terry.
Well, it's something that, you know, people have been saying all along. They really wanted to see the Saints open up their offense. Hey, you're too predictable. We want to see you throw it more. So now they get out here and they bring Growth in motion. As you can see him in the left of your screen, number 86, folks. Comes in motion, they snap the football, little play action. Number 22, Vince Newsom, stays with him inside, leans on him inside, and then leans outside. It's man-for-man coverage. Boy, that's just a good throw, good route. 1st down.
First time New Orleans has been across midfield. They have a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. See the stats on Jeff Growth for the season. Play fake. Again on 1st down. Todd with nobody open, sacked for the 2nd time. That's 2 today. Reggie Dawson, Greg Meisner share the trophy.
Well, credit good coverage that time by their secondary. The Rams secondary did a good job of stopping their tight ends, stopping their receivers. And that time when the Todd came out and with his play action, held everyone momentarily, but the good rush by the ends and everything, got inside, no one open, got a sack.
Gajan back in the lineup as the sole running back now. Junior Miller has come in as an extra tight end. He and Larry Hardy split on either side of the ball. And Todd turns around to change the play at the line. Check me.
Check me. Says, listen to me. There you go.
Watch out. Intercepted. Leroy Irvin, he'll score.
We're going to watch this again. He hollers, check me. The back comes out and does not pick up number 54, Milson. There's the pass. Todd did not have time to get set. He threw the football before the back broke, didn't see the ball. Irving, 47, Irvin pulls up in front of it, gets the football, interception, touchdown. Mike Welcher, you credit him with that.
Welcher coming from the right side, and that is the 2nd touchdown this year on an interception by Leroy Irvin. That one of 51 yards. He had an earlier score, 81 yards out. Lansford with the extra point. It's good. Now in his 5th year from the University of Kansas, and he puts the Rams on top 7-0 with 10:08 to go first quarter. Richard Todd has been intercepted for the 18th time this year. It was Leroy Irvin who did it, returned at 51 yards. And that has put the Rams on top early in the first quarter.
Johnny Robinson's got to feel good about that, huh? Gee, we got one with the old defense.
Lansford with a kick, Jitter Fields. Tyrone Anthony. Instead, number 22. At the 25-yard line. Doug Smith made the tackle. Of course, a lot of early games in the National Football League today. Our game, one of the 3 late games this afternoon. And our score 7-0 on Irvin's pass interception return for the touchdown. Rams, of course, trying to go 9-5 and stay in the thick of the wild card chase. They got a lot of company at that spot as Dallas won today 26-10, overcoming a very difficult day for Danny White. The Giants are 9-5. They defeat the Jets 20-10. St. Louis stays a game back 33-10, the final over New England in New England. Growth in motion, I formation. Rodgers fumbled. It's happened a couple of times this year, most recently last week. But this time they'll rule the ball down and a loss of 5 yards.
Well, you know, when a football team has had as much trouble as the Saints have had, especially after last week's disappointing loss to the 49ers, you come out and the basic things in their offense is the pitch to the tailback. That's something that, you know, it's just something that shouldn't happen. The pitch should be there. It's very simple. Turn around, lob it out there. The back should keep his eyes on and get it. And, you know, at that time, evidently, Rodgers just took his eyes off of it, fumbled the football, and doggone near gave him the ball again on the 20-yard line.
How about that? Kansas City leading Denver in the fourth quarter by 3. Second down and 15. That's 3 sacks. Gary Jeter, who is back in after sitting out much of the season with an injury. He is playing in place of Jack Youngblood. Youngblood started for the 201st time today, but he's been bothered, Terry, by a sciatic nerve, a back problem, and apparently is hampering him more than we thought.
Well, he missed most of the practice this week. They said he could not push off. He didn't have any strength, and he would push and the leg would give, and there was a lot of pain to it. I saw him yesterday. He was getting treatment on it. You know, he said, hey, you know, they're so used to this guy being here and playing that they expect him to be there today, but now Jeter's there.
In the first 11 games this year, only 20 sacks. They've had 3 already today. Draw play, Tyrone Anthony. And he gets it out only to the 13-yard line. It'll be 4th down. How do you explain the sudden collapse of the offensive line of New Orleans with that only 20 sacks the first 11 games?
Well, they played against the 49ers, one of the finer sack teams. They had Fred Dean in the game. He got 2 sacks. There was a lot of pressure. They got people that are playing that really aren't 100%. I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but they've got people that are not 100%. Hey, you know, it's the later part of the season, everybody's banged up.
For the second time here in the first quarter, Brian Hansen on the punt, and Henry Ellard waits at the Ram 43-yard line. Hansen with a 44.5 average. Rookie from Sioux Falls. That'll get a New Orleans bounce and will not be returned as it limps out of bounds at the 41-yard line. 45 yards on the kick with a hang time of only 3.4 seconds.
We got the beat.
Our score 7-0, 8:04 to go. .804 to go first quarter. The Rams lead the New Orleans Saints 7-0 on Leroy Irvin's 51-yard interception return for a touchdown. With Terry Bradshaw, I'm Vern Lundquist. We're at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. The Saints and the Rams having at it in week 14. Jeff Kemp so far has thrown 2 times and has yet to find a completion. Dickerson. He has a knack, Terry, of delivering the punishment, doesn't he?
Well, this is the thing that they were saying. They said you can watch Eric Dickerson, number 29, right there, folks. When he gets ready or when he sees a hole, he's like a turkey. His old head will pop up, and boy, he just accelerates. That time he goes outside, and they come at him. And boy, he delivers a blow. They said it's amazing that in that last 10 inches, right before contact is made, he is the one who delivers the force and knocks people down. That time he did it, got himself 5-6 yards.
Denver has lost for the second time in as many weeks as Nick Lowry kicked 3 field goals in the final quarter, the last with 2 minutes to go, to give Kansas City the upset victory. And Pittsburgh and Houston in overtime. Second down and 5. Dickerson comes left. Hit at the line. He gets to the 50. It'll be 3rd and 1 as Tony Elliott makes a tackle, number 99. course, Eric Dickerson in his second year from SMU is off to another great year. Last year with 1,808 yards. And he has almost a 300-yard lead over Walter Payton going into games today. Chasing O.J. Simpson, he needs to average 124 yards in each of the final 3 games in order to pass that 2,003-yard mark.
I tell you, 62 Bill Bain just decked him that time. Boy, he pulled around, did a good job.
The big guy at right tackle.
You bet.
Hill in motion. Dickerson pitch. To the 33-yard line. Russell Gary made the tackle.
I tell you, this is a good job. He had the offensive line, had the guards that time pulling out outside, leading to the left. Dickerson took the little pitch, got in behind him. Boy, they did a good job of seeing. There's big. Look at this guy. That's Bill Bain, folks. Look at that guy. He is huge. What a character he is. Been a nice talk with him. Yes, funny fellow. And an all-pro. This guy's playing up to pro potential this year. We'll get into more about him later, but he is quite a character.
He's a big character. Barry Redden in the backfield now. Number 30. Number 1 draft choice in 82 for the Rams. Ron Brown in motion. Kemp going deep, could be intercepted. Nope, knocked away. A nice defensive play by Henry Ellard, the wide receiver, as Kemp was decked.
Well, I'll tell you, Henry Ellard, number 80, boy, he did a super job. This is a guy that was a defensive back in college, Vern, and this is the thing that he showed right then was the fact that he can play defense. Watch, he has this man. He turns Dave Waymer, number 44, around. They're even. The ball is actually underthrown. Now, David Waymer, 44 for the Saints, goes up for the interception, and then it turns around that Ellard, number 80, he's playing defensive back, knocks the ball down, saved an interception.
6:23 to go first quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10, 7-0 Rams on top. Dickerson back in the lineup. He's got 32 yards so far. To the 28 as Dennis Winston and Jim Kovach make the tackle. Gave you the final on Denver, Kansas City, 16-13. Seattle leading Detroit 7-0. They can take a 1-game edge with a victory today. And the Raiders leading Miami 7-0 in the first quarter in the Orange Bowl. And that Denver loss will keep alive the Raider hopes of a wild card, I'm sure. 3rd and 4 with 5:54 to go first quarter. Kemp is now 0 for 3. And Dickerson with 38 yards on 5 carries. Half roll by Kemp, which he does so well. He'll scramble and pick up the first down play.
You know, we were talking to the offensive lineman, and we were asking him about Jeff Kemp, the things that he does so well. They said, well, the kid, you know, he really keeps his head about him. He doesn't panic that easily. He's always smiling, and said, we really don't want to mess that up. So we kind of leave the guy alone. But he said the thing he gives us that Vince Ferragamo doesn't is good feet. This guy can get outside and run, and right there he shows great athletic ability by getting outside of the rush, getting past Clark, number 75, put the heat on him, gets down there and gets him the first down.
Dwayne Crutchfield has joined the offensive backfield as he and Dickerson will work in the split back position. Crutchfield to the left, Dickerson directly behind Jeff Kemp on 1st and goal from the 10. Still in motion. Dickerson. 7-yard line. Jim Kovach made the tackle. Bill Bain is down for the Los Angeles Rams.
We're going to watch this again. You see 91, the up back that time, the U back they call him. Hill gets a good job, seals back inside. Jackson, 57, chases Dickerson, grabs him from behind. He pulls away from them and then gets on down there. And finally, Kovach, number 52, makes the tackle. That was a good job. The thing that's interesting about the Rams blocking scheme, Vern, is like so many of these teams that we've found at a National Football Conference is they really get up inside. They do that position blocking. Bill Bain, 6'2", the guy's injured.
He's having an all-pro year. So says his coach, John Robinson. Timeout has been called for the injury. Back in a moment. Bill Bain walked off by himself, all 315 pounds of him, and he's on the sideline. I think he's so big, they ought to give a team a first down for running around him. He looks like John Madden, doesn't he?
Well, I said that to him yesterday. Only kidding, of course. I was laughing a lot when I said it to him. But the guy's got such a great personality. He's funny. He makes fun of the fact that people make fun of the way he looks. And I'll tell you, he'll make a lot of money off of making fun of himself.
2nd down, 6. Half roll by Kemp. Chased by Ricky Jackson into the end zone. Tipped out of bounds. David Hill knocked it away. And Russell Gary was back there defending along with Dave Waymer.
You can tell the difference in the offense that the Rams run now as opposed to when Ferragamo was the quarterback. You notice a lot of misdirection. Kemp comes out, fakes one side, and then sprints away from the flow, trying to get people dragging across him and getting them open. Does a good job, gives him time. That time it was just good coverage.
There's Bruce Clark, who is having a potential All-Pro year, particularly if you saw the Monday night game against Pittsburgh when he had a dream night. But he's played well all season long, and he and Bill Bain are going to have a battle for the rest of the afternoon.
It'll be something we want to certainly keep our eyes on.
Bain is back in there now at right tackle. 3rd and 6. Draw play, Dickerson. That'll be 6. That is his 11th touchdown this year, and he's now got 49 yards on 7 carries.
Oh, you got a good job this time. You see the guard, Hara pull down, the left guard pulls inside and leads out. 75, the tackle comes inside. That time, Pankey does a good job of blocking out. Jackson, the weak side linebacker, 57 for the Saints, actually blitzed and created that hole, and Pankey was able to seal off, and Dickerson get in the end zone.
Lansford to make it 14-0. Has done so. That was a 59-yard drive in 9 plays. One of the keys was a scramble by Jeff Kemp. The Rams are on top by 2 touchdowns. 4:01 to go first quarter. Eric Dickerson now with 49 yards. Again, he needs to average 124 with the final 3 games to break the 2003-yard mark set by O.J. Simpson in 1973. I was teasing him yesterday, Terry. I said, if you get 373 today, then they won't put an asterisk by the record if you get it. And he's on a pretty good pace. Here's Jinder Fields, a rookie from Texas. Spins, keeps his balance, finally drops to 23. The AFC Central is really interesting now. Cincinnati defeats Cleveland 20-17. They tied the game with no time left on a pass to Anthony Munoz, the tackle, who was eligible in the play. And then Houston has just defeated Pittsburgh. Joe Cooper with a 30-yard field goal.
Hard thing to figure out, those Steelers.
Now look, 7-7 for the Steelers, and Cincinnati with that victory of 6-8.
Well, you got to really, the Bengals have done a great job this year under Wysham coming back after a disastrous start. The Steelers have been hot and cold all year long. Teams you expect them to win, they lose too. Then when you expect them to lose, they win. It's kind of been that kind of the year for them.
Injury for the Saints, the only man who has started at his right position for the last 2 years in the offensive line, Stan Brock. He's the only starter who has not been injured this year in the offensive line. 5-year man from Colorado. See if we can see what happened. He's number 67
there in the center of your screen now. There it comes. He rolled right up his back, roll right up the back of his legs, cut his legs right out from under. Well, that's one of those injuries there. Well, he's getting up, walking off kind of gingerly, but those are the kind of injuries, man, when you're standing around there and all of a sudden a guy rolls right up the back of your legs, and gee whiz, that's Mark Jarrell, number 59, right up his legs and caught him. Looks like he's going to be all right.
I'll tell you, he's a tough cookie, and I'll bet he's back.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's the one guy we were talking to. He's pretty doggone upset. He wants to win this game, and he wants everybody else to know he wants to win this football game.
We'll see who moves in at right tackle now. John Hill, number 62, comes up. Number 60 is Steve Court. And Kelvin Clark has gone over to right tackle from his left tackle spot.
And Ward went to left tackle.
Chris Ward. Rogers, not much there.
I tell you, Greg Meisner is playing one heck of a game. He's just blowing right through Hill that time and just stuffing the play in the back. He just comes right off that nose tackle position and slams that center back there and throws him right into the blockers. Watch this now. There comes the snap, and you look at Meisner. Gets under the center Hill and gets position on Hill before Hill can get position on him. Boy, he's right in Rogers' way. There's not a back in the world, including Dickerson, that got a yard out of that.
2nd down, 11. 3:20 to go first quarter.
So he looks like a number 1 today.
He really is having a heck of a first quarter. That's Jeff Grove, who turns around and goes the other direction. Pitch out to Kaijon, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. Jim Collins and Reggie Doss made the tackle.
Excuse me, Vern. That time they had the pitch out to the left side, and they pull Ward. Now Ward has come in. He's cold. He's not fresh, but he pulled outside. They supported with a corner who came up to make the tackle, and Chris ran right by him. and that way there was no way for the back to go, so he went ahead and cut inside, trying to keep from losing yardage.
That makes it 3rd and 10 for the New Orleans Saints, and they trail 14-0 with 2:40 to go in the first quarter. Tyrone Anthony and Eugene Goodlow have come in, 3rd and 11 officially. 4-man rush by the Rams. Todd, who has been sacked 3 times, has the pass ball incomplete as Jeff Gross got one hand on it, but that was it. Boy, he's getting pressured. Has not gone the way Bum Phillips might have wanted this year. Been a very long year for him. Henry Ellard is back to return the kick now. Brian Hansen. That's John Levera standing and talking with Bum, trying to solve the puzzle, and the pieces aren't fitting together. So far, Hansen right near his average. Jim Kovacs looks around to see that Brian is okay. Ellard will have a chance to return it from the 38. Near midfield, and the Rams once more will enjoy good field position as Jimmy Rogers hustles down to make the tackle, number 41. 40-yard kick, 11 on the return. The hang time was only 3.9 seconds. Coming up next Saturday, CBS Sports presents NCAA basketball. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels against the number 1 Georgetown Hoyas, live at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You'll have a chance to see Patrick Ewing and all of that bunch, and they've got just about everybody back except Michael Graham, and a great basketball team. Jerry Tarkanian, I'm sure, will have his group ready to go then. That's coming up next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Our Dickerson watch continues. He's got 49 yards on 7 carries. And Kemp will throw for the 4th time. Tip? No, incomplete.
That was a good job that time. Tony Ellett, number 99, the nose tackle, believe it or not. Vern, he almost intercepted the pass. You know, one of the things that we said earlier in the broadcast was the fact that they would be sending the U-back in motion, and Whitney Paul would trail him and mirror him. Well, that hasn't happened, so I don't know if they've gotten away from that because they're 14 points down or not. One thing's very obvious early, though, Vern, the fact that they're running away from 57 Jackson. They're going to the left a lot, staying away from him. A lot of respect for that guy.
That's what the 49ers did last week in their 35-3 win. 2nd down and 10. Dickerson coming left. Doesn't get much this time. Tony Elliott made the tackle. Elliott, of course, is playing in the place of Derlin Moore, the 12-year vet, who went on injured reserve this week. Had an ankle injured last week in the game against San Francisco. Elliott just activated after getting the Saints got permission from the league. He had some problems. Had been involved in a drug rehabilitation program and came back and had some other difficulties to overcome, and he got back into the lineup. Now it's 3rd down and 9. 1:30 to go, first quarter, 14-0. Kemp being chased by Jim Wilkes. Look at this. 1st down. And somewhere, Bill Bain is going, that's what I told you. The guy can scramble.
He did. He turned around to me yesterday when he walked off got about 10 yards. He said, and I'll tell you, he said the kid can run. Now the kid can run. And I like that. I'm a big guy. I like to see him run with that football. Look at old Bain doing his job. Boy, he's wearing 75 out there. Did a good job. Now you get the little pressure. Gets outside. 75 chasing him. Kemp, all that speed, beats Russell Gary and gets the 1st down.
Kemp has now carried twice for 30 yards.
Hey, this guy can play for me. I'd like for this guy to just hang around with me and shake me.
1st and 10. Wiggles for about 4 inside the 30. Ricky Jackson made the tackle.
We're going to see again. Look at Bain comes off. There's the headbutt by Clark, 75, and there's Bain just pushes and just rides on it. Back leads up inside on Jackson, but look at that, still going. I'll tell you what, now that you cannot ask for more than that. I said, well, Bill, are you in good shape? He said, you see that 5-yard mark over there, Terry? He said, I can do that all day long. I can go 5 yards all day long.
But I'm not like those wide receivers have to run 40 and come back. 2nd and 5. Number 29, Dickerson. Not much there. They 3rd down and 3.
you really have to give the Saints a lot of credit, Vern. You know, earlier in their season, they had a lot of trouble stopping runners that wanted to cut back. Riggs cut back on them for a couple of yards, but they're doing a good job here of keeping a guy like Dickerson from cutting back. See Jackson, 57 of the Saints, right there in the center of your screen, split the block, comes inside, and makes the tackle. Cutback blocks have hurt this team as they haven't so far today.
Ricky Jackson thought he had gained possession of the football, but the officials declined to give it to him.
He came out in the papers and said, hey, I'm going to be blitzing. He told them exactly what he was going to do. And then John Robinson, the coach of the Rams, said, you know what? We listen to those guys. I believe players won't lie to us. And what he told us is going to happen, I believe will happen.
End of the first quarter. Back for the second quarter from Anaheim Stadium. The Rams on top over New Orleans 14-0 with Terry Bradshaw. I'm Vern Lundquist. We've got a 3rd down and 4. Rams are 4 out of 5 on 3rd down conversions in the first quarter, and they're second to last in the league. So they've gotten off to a good start in their 3rd down conversion. Kemp, left flat, wide open. Barry Redden, first down at the 15. I think, Terry, it's safe to say this young man would be a starter for almost any other National Football League team.
Well, it's an unfortunate thing for Barry that he's on this football team with a guy like Dickerson. He acknowledges that, but he said, I want to win. I want to be on a football team that's winning, and I'll get my chance, and one of these days we'll get to a 2-back set. But he said, I know my role right now, and his role is getting out and catching 3rd down passes, making the big plays when he has that opportunity, and he did that today. By the way, that pass was made, that thing was successful because Barber really drug the corner and safety deep that time.
Another first down for the Rams. That is their 5th first down. They lead 14-0. Play fake. Yep. Ellard, touchdown. Number 5 this season for Henry Ellard, the triple jump, world-class triple jumper at Fresno State. And Kemp, who threw only 10 times last week, completing 7, has now thrown 7 times and gotten his first touchdown today. Lansford for the extra point to make it 21-6.
Well, the thing that was interesting, the fact that the safeties came up tight. Once again, they came up tight to do this right here, stop the running game. They came up tight. He throws in right behind him. Look at this, wide open. Well, not really wide open. It was just a good, well-thrown ball, and Ellard did a fine job of making a catch. Kovacs just sits there, watch the play. Actually, notice him come up right there. Whoop, doesn't have the ball. There's a ball behind me. Ellard did a good job of catching that ball over Weimer. 44, gets in the end zone. Touchdown, 21-0, the Rams.
The Rams on top, 21-0. And Jeff Kemp gets his 11th touchdown toss this year. And he really, Terry, has kept the interceptions down as well as being active in passes.
Well, where he's getting saving on his interceptions with his athletic ability and getting out of that pocket, not forcing it.
Lansford. Anthony to the 20. Doug Smith, or Jim Laughlin it was, who just activated, number 52, who made the tackle. Next Saturday, the NFL Today will report on the state of the game, from the competition between the goalposts to the competition on the airwaves. You'll hear from some of the principals involved, including NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle and more, next Saturday, beginning at 3:30 Eastern on the NFL Today. And that'll be followed by a chance once more to watch perhaps the finest team in the NFC, the 49ers. Well, I don't think there's any question they are the
best
finest in
record.
the NFC. Absolutely. Against the Minnesota Vikings. First and 10, down 21-0. Saints from their own 20. Todd on first down wants to throw. He's now been sacked 4 times.
You know, this was an interesting piece of defensive work that the Rams did on the Saints. The Saints come up with their what really appears to a wing or an H-back, and then they waited, and when they came up with that, they brought the strong safety up over the H-back. Now, when they snapped the football, the safety blitzed that time, Vern, giving an indication that it's man coverage and that everyone is covered by a man. But what they did was took the linebacker back into his zone, just a plain old 4-man rush. Another thing, too, you got to realize they're blitzing over there with block number 67 is line of the football game.
Todd to throw again. Goes deep, man is open. Junior Miller can't hang on. Word from the bench is that Stan Brock, number 67, who has started every game the last 2 years, has a sprained right knee and will not be back.
That's a
and
tough break.
he's got to be angry about that.
That's a tough break.
So the anticipated battle between Jack Youngblood and Stan Brock will not happen today.
Well, it's interesting. 66 Oubre, he's got a bad toe. He's missed half the season. Lafari's been out all year long. They're fine all-pro tackles. So this is a football team that has just been decimated by injuries. It's a good word.
Decimated.
Looked it up.
I like it.
I do too. I'm going to use it again.
Getting polysyllabic on me, aren't you?
Who?
3rd and 16. Dodd, tip, intercepted.
Owens.
Mel Owens, number 58. That's the first interception for Owens this year. The 19th interception for Richard Todd.
And boy, don't you know this is frustrating. Richard just said, gee, Minnie Christmas, what in the world have I got to do to get that ball into the right hands of the right people? Man, you know, it's frustrating. He's walking off and, you know, you're trying, you're doing your doggonest to get the thing in there. You got to have big plays. There's Bum clapping for him, but you know doggone well that this is not a good feeling. It's a horrible feeling, actually, for a quarterback who's trying hard, but maybe a little bit too hard. Richard stands in there, he fires the football. Does a good job that time by number 55, Eckern, of tipping the football up and then having Owens come over and intercept the football. It's one of those things that goes down as an interception, but right there, that isn't an interception. That's an incomplete pass, and then you got great athletic out. There you go. Eckern comes over, boy, he leaps and intercepts.
14 minutes to go in the first half. 21-0 already. Dickerson to the 30-yard line. Ricky Jackson and Frank Watlett made the tackle that time.
Number 81. Watch number 81 that time. Hill. See him comes outside. He's the designated hitter, the hit man in that offensive line. 81 just stymies 57. Jackson then turns him loose. Dickerson cuts inside and then finally comes off and makes the tackle. There he is, David Hill, number 81.
You know, he told me yesterday he played to a 6 handicap in golf. Yeah.
I bet he can hit the driver a long way.
I bet it'll go a ways, that's right. He certainly got the hip action into it. From the 30-yard line, 2nd down, 6. McDonald in motion, Dickerson. Does that as well as anybody to the 19-yard line. Russell Gary made the tackle. Dickerson already with 10 games over 100 yards this season. His low was 37 yards. He was held to that by the 49ers. But he's got 71 yards and 12 carries. Had a dilemma, Terry, yesterday. He's got turf toe problems, so he wears a plastic toe piece on both of his big toes. He lost them yesterday, and you should have seen him. I mean, it was Panic City. They had to go into the trash to find them. He'd accidentally thrown them away.
Has anybody seen my plastic toe turf covers?
Where are my toe pieces? Kemp will scramble again. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Eric Dickerson sometimes can block, though that is not his forte. Watch him.
Well, he said, I like to be different. I'm different than most running backs, and maybe he is. Here's a superstar that makes a good block and gives a little more time to the quarterback who gets outside and makes some yardage.
Talked to him about breaking O.J.'s record yesterday, and I said, do you want it? He says, you bet I want it. He said, 16 games or 14 games. He said, it would really make me proud and happy. And it's something that he covets a great deal and is well on his way to getting. Dwayne Crutchfield in as the eye back in front of Dickerson now. Crutchfield gets the handoff and plunges to the 13-yard line. Dennis Winston, number 56, made the tackle. Crutchfield, of course, acquired from the New York Jets by way of Houston. Was well on his way to a big year with the Jets when unexpectedly they waived him last year. And is the second leading ground gainer for the Rams this year, but light years behind Eric Dickerson. 3rd down, 5. Rams are 5 of 6 on 3rd down conversions. They lead 21-0 with 11:48 to go in the first half. Blitz picked up nicely. Pass caught at the 9-yard line.
I believe they're going to mark him just a little bit short.
David Hill made the tackle and the catch, and Frank Watlett made the tackle.
So this Hill was quite a receiver when he was up in Detroit. He was a little bit lighter, and they brought him down here, and Johnny Robinson said, look, you're going to play for me, you're going to block. So what he did when he put a little weight on, and by golly, they say he's the finest blocking tight end in the National Football League.
Barry Redden comes in on 4th down as the Rams will go for it. Passing on Lansford, who has hit 11 of his last 12. Russ Bollinger has also come into the lineup, and they will go from a split back formation. Might be enough.
I always admire a coach who will send his best runner after those 4th and 1s. Big, strong guy. There he is, number 9. I guarantee you, he's about the only one that could squirm and squeak through those little cracks that are created by the line that time.
Ignore Dickerson. Let me carry it.
That's
huh, Coach?
right. That's right. They're going to measure here to see if he made it. I used to, early in my career when I was a player, I used to love the 4th and 1s, the 3rd and 1. I always liked to leap over people, and after a while, that got a little old when you'd meet the safeties about midway over the pile, and they'd hit you in midair and knock you about 5 yards back. I decided that Franco was much better at that than I was.
First and goal for the Rams. 10:33 to go first half, 21-0. Seattle has gone on top of Detroit 14-10 in the second quarter. And the Raiders are now tied by Miami 7-7 in the Cotton Bowl. San Francisco was a winner today. Dallas was a winner. The Giants defeated the Jets. Washington had already won on Thursday night. Pittsburgh will lose it to Houston in overtime. Play fake. Wadlett chasing Kemp. Incomplete. Frank Wadlett did a nice job of shadowing Jeff Kemp that time, number 49.
Well, what they had that time, they came out with that misdirection where Kemp, number 9, turns to his left and makes the old play action fake, then sprints to the right. Number 49, Frank Wadlett, in the center of your screen there, folks. He had a safety blitz on. He was coming up from his weak side safety, and he said, whoa, Kemp, where you going? He went right by him. He turned around, went in pursuit, caught up with him, and forced him actually to throw that football out of the end zone. That was good recovery by him.
That brings up a 2nd down and goal from the 9. 10 minutes exactly to go in the first half. 21-0 Los Angeles lead. You heard it. No gain. Ricky Jackson made the sound. Ouch. It's something, Terry. I've not had a lot of chance to spend time on the sidelines of NFL games, but you don't really get the impact of the game up here, do you? I mean, the sound of the NFL is something.
You don't really get the impact, but I'll tell you what, you don't need noise or anything to describe this. I'll just shut up and watch this.
Miami 13, Los Angeles Raiders 7.
Bang! I tell you what, that is collision right there, brother.
3rd and goal. Ellard in motion to the left side. Kemp.
Russell Gary, 20. Boy, what a shot. That ball was just a little bit behind that time, but that was a good shot by the safety. Sometimes in the National Football League, even if you're only 6'1", weigh 200 pounds, you're going to have to stand your ground and take shots like that right there. And then with the pressure he got, forces him to throw the ball behind the receiver and gives 20 Russell Gary a chance to knock the receiver down. See, that stuff works that way. You get one guy knocking the quarterback down, you get another guy knocking the safety down, then you can go off the field and feel pretty proud of yourself.
Lansford has hit 11 of his last 12. He's 18 of 24 for the year. From the 15-yard line, a 25-yard field goal is good, and the Rams increase their lead. With 9 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the first half. It's beginning to have a semblance of a blowout. 24-0 Rams. 9:11 to go in the first half. A tough week, a tough season for 61-year-old Bum Phillips. Matter of fact, in light of John Meekum's remarks after the game last week that he was going to sell the club, a press conference was called on Tuesday. And we understand that many people showed up at the press conference from the New Orleans media expecting Bum Phillips to announce his retirement. And it did not happen, but there is that speculation. Tyrone Anthony will let it bounce and take the touchback out to the 20-yard line.
Well, I just don't expect Bum Phillips that kind of person. The guy that I admire so much can't be a quitter, and I know he isn't. And they may have been disappointed among the media in New Orleans, but I guarantee you the fans that are smart and the players, by golly, they believe in this guy, and they don't want him to quit. retire, do anything. They want him to be their coach.
One of those traps, Terry, you can fall into with the expectations so high at the beginning of the year.
That's true. You get it built up and everybody thinks you're going to the Super Bowl, but I'm telling you, that was just a great year they had. They're still building in the right direction. This team is not a football team that's not making the right progress.
Bob has made a change at quarterback, and Dave Wilson has replaced Richard Todd for the second time in as many weeks. Rogers gets the handoff and about 3 yards to the 23. Rogers having a non-productive day so far. His third carry for only 4 yards.
Well, there's young Dave Wilson. He's a guy that they got from Illinois. Picked him up in that little draft they had extra there and got him, and he hasn't really had an opportunity to play that much. And with the Saints struggling here in the game, being down 24-0, Bum said, give this guy a young shot. There's Richard. I know he's disappointed. It's a horrible feeling standing over there by yourself, but hey, that's just part of this game.
Todd, 1 of 5 at the time he left the game. Wilson drills it, caught near the 30-yard line. That's Jeff Groth with the catch.
Good job by Groth, 86. They had a blitz control. That means that the receiver and the quarterback have to be on the same page. The safety blitzed. Groth saw it, quarterback saw it. They broke the route off, came inside. He popped him the ball and got the good completion out of that.
One thing New Orleans, Terry, as you well know, is not blessed with is speed at the wide receiver spot.
Well, they're not, and they want their receivers to block. And they do an outstanding job of blocking, but they are not blessed with the great speed that you need for an open offensive attack.
3rd and 1 for the Saints, trailing 24-0. Rogers will move the chains. He gets 3 yards at the 32 as Jim Collins makes the tackle.
It's been a rough year for this guy. A lot was expected of him coming in a trade from the New York Jets. He had and I have the utmost respect and admiration for his talents. I played against him several times when he was with the Jets, when they had a wide open attack and the offense was really diversified. It's extremely difficult for a young man to come to an attack that's very simple, run, and very uncomplicated in their passing routes. And he's had a hard time adjusting to that, and by the very instance that this means that they're taking his place right now.
1st and 10, New Orleans. Flag is down. Rogers spins for yardage, but he gets only 5, so if the penalty is against the Rams, I expect the Saints will take it. Tom Dooley, our referee. Looked like it was Doug Reed, number 93, a rookie from San Diego State, who came across the line of scrimmage. Brad Edelman was on the injured reserve, number 63 for a while, offside Rams, and the Saints will no doubt take it.
It's really a good test for this football team. These Saints right now, they're down 24-0, have a new quarterback.
Offside, defense, 1st down.
And quite honestly, not only are we covering this football game, but as a spectator, I'm interested in seeing the attitude and if there is any change in it with a new quarterback. The quarterbacks get all the glory and they get the blame. So let's see what happens. Let's see if really putting one guy in there can change the entire attitude of this entire offensive unit.
Rams almost have quadrupled the yardage of the New Orleans Saints in the first half. 1st down and 5. Rogers for no gain. Doug Reed, number 93, makes the tackle. Charles DeJournay, number 70 rather, is also checked in at nose guard. So up front, the Rams now have Reed, DeJournay, and Reggie Doss. Youngblood started his 201st consecutive game and then took himself out of the game with a bad back problem. George Rogers, 5 carries for 6 yards, and right beside him, Earl Campbell. And the controversy continues in New Orleans over the usage of those two men. Matter of fact, there was a headline in New Orleans this week that said they were going to try Campbell at fullback next summer. And Hokie Gaijon, who gets the carry here on 2nd down, was not pleased with that headline. There's a hunk of talent on the bench.
That's a hunk of dough, too. I mean, those two guys right there probably making as much as you made in 2 years when you were working down there in Dallas.
Yeah,
46 guys, John. I asked him, I said, are you concerned about it? He said, yeah. He said, I was shocked and really upset when they made the trade for Campbell, because I said, well, gee, there goes my starting fullback spot. But now they're talking about using him in training camp next year, so I don't really know what's going to happen.
Pitch out Rogers with Gaijon in front. George turns the corner. He has enough to move the chains again as he gets it out to the 46-yard line. Jim Collins, number 50, and Johnny Johnson, number 20, made the tackle. There's Collins, leading tackler on the Rams, coming into his own now in his 4th year.
You know, in talking to Johnny Robinson, he told us, he said, you know, Collins always played the run extremely well. I mean, he was the guy that really would stick his nose in there. He was the guy that was making all the collisions. But when it came to covering people on the passing, he said, well, he lacked a little bit. But he said over the years going to the 3-4 now, he has really developed his coverage skills and become a fine all-around linebacker. He said he's our best linebacker.
5:10 to go in the first half of play. 24-0, Los Angeles. Wilson will throw it. 4-man rush, good blocking. Junior Miller drops it.
Well, maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't throw. You know, when you do a good job and you got your lineman, boy, you had Ward doing a good job. Edelman 63 and 72. All the linemen really did their job. Held the guys out. Gave the quarterback plenty of time that time. Wilson to throw the football. Good route by the tight end 84. Pass was there. Should have caught it. Dropped it.
That'll make it 2nd down and 10. Wilson now 1 out of 2 for 7 yards. Raiders have gone back on top of Miami. There was a missed extra point by Miami after they scored to take a 13-7 lead. May prove important as the game winds down. Reverse is faked. Gaijon coming left. Out of the tackle, down the sidelines to the 30-yard line. He's been the big play man for the Saints all year, and he comes through again. Probably the most valuable player on the Saints this year.
No, that's the way everybody feels about it. You know, Vern, this is a guy 46, and I guess he's one of these guys that doesn't get in. He's a Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get any respect, you know. He's the guy that's made the big plays for the Saints all year. Here he comes out, he fakes the reverse, does a good job that time of getting by Irvin on a nice little move. Good job downfield by number 63, Brad Edelman, of making a key block. But the guy is really just doesn't get any respect, but he does the job week in and week out.
His given name is Howard Gaijon. He said he's been called Hokie ever since he could remember.
Wouldn't tell us why either.
No. Wilson on 1st down. Right flat.
Oh, fine catch.
Yes. Eugene Goodlow.
Fine catch. He threw it on the guy that probably has more respect for his talents than anyone at 27, Gary Green. Well, that is good coverage. That is good, just an outstanding pass.
Goodlow, another of those who was on injured reserve with a hamstring, so his season stats are kind of low. But he was out for 6 weeks, Terry.
He's one of those guys that came from Canada where they used to catch 100 passes in the first half of the season. Now he's got 15 down here.
24-0. First New Orleans threat of the ball game. Rodgers inside the 15 to the 13. Jim Collins, number 50, made the tackle. Detroit has gone on top of Seattle 17-14, and Gary Danielson passed to James Jones. And of course, the folks in Denver are praying for that to stay as is. And Marcus Allen gave the Raiders the lead at 10:08 to go in the first half on an 11-yard run. It's 14-13 in that game. Hokie Gaijon back in. Terry said, how'd you get your nickname? And he said, some things you don't talk about.
He really did. I said, well, I won't go into it. If it wouldn't make any difference, I'm not going to tell you.
Wilson lobs it up. Touchdown. Oh, Lindsey Scott, the first touchdown for Scott in the 3rd year of his professional career. That is number 1 for the former number 1 draft choice. It finally happened.
Well, maybe now things will happen. Sometimes it takes a while to get the good positive things on your side. There, Scott hasn't caught a TD. Now that's broken. Now that old dog's off his back. And now maybe things will start to happen for this young man because he was their number 1 draft choice. And they expected a lot of him, Vern. They expected him to really explode the National Football League.
Morton Anderson will try the extra point. What a relief that must be for Lindsey Scott to finally get the monkey off his back. 24-7.
Well, one of the things that I hated as a growing up in the National Football League was the bump and run. You see it turns inside, number 47, Leroy Irvin, turns him inside, beats him, then comes outside, and the pass is right there. Good job by Wilson that time of getting the ball off with the blitz in his face and laying it right there. Good job by Scott catching the ball.
With the change of quarterbacks as Dave Wilson replaced Richard Todd, the Saints go 80 yards in 11 plays. Lindsey Scott with his first NFL touchdown, 14 yards from Wilson, narrows the margin to 24-7 with 3:21 to go in the first half. Morton Anderson will kick it off. Barry Redden and Drew Hill are deep. Redden, a yard into the end zone, will drop to one knee. He's close to that plane, wasn't he? Very close. Coming up next Saturday, CBS Sports presents NCAA basketball. The Nevada-Las Vegas Running Rebels against the Georgetown Hoyas. Live 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Georgetown with Patrick Ewing off to another quick start. And on the 15th of December, what a great game this ought to be. DePaul, they demolished UCLA last night or yesterday afternoon. Ranked number 2 in the country, and they visit Georgetown. You'll see that game on the 15th of December live at 3:45 Eastern Time. Then on the 22nd, we continue with NCAA basketball. The UCLA Bruins against St. John's and Chris Mullen at 1 o'clock on CBS Sports, your home of the NCAA championship again this year. First down and 10. 2 wide receivers to the left side. The pitch out goes to Eric Dickerson for 1 yard. Jim Wilkes made the tackle. They have avoided the presence of number 57, Ricky Jackson, as much as possible.
John Robertson said, you know, the players, when they talk about the teams in the papers, he said, you believe them, they don't lie. Yesterday he told us, he said, we're going to run to the left. Quite honestly, we got a lot of respect for 57 Jackson. We're going to run to the left. And I'd say today that they've done a good job of running to the left.
Timeout has been called. Perhaps because he does not play in the media center of the United States, New York City, Ricky Jackson is somewhat unheralded. He's only, in the last 3 years, a sack and a half behind Lawrence Taylor and has more tackles.
Well, you would think that, well, yeah, you said the media center, but Hugh Green's in Tampa, and there he is over. Then you could say, well, you got to be on a winning football team, but that's not true because Hugh Green isn't either. He's a guy that's a sack and a half behind. Is probably every bit as good or better than those guys.
Second down and 9, Los Angeles. 24-7, they lead. 3:01 to go, first half. Kemp will throw it again on the half roll. No, he'll pull it up. Lets it go. Caught. How about that? Ron Brown makes the catch, the rookie from Arizona State, the Olympic gold medalist in the 400-meter relay.
You can see this again, and we've talked about it, and I guess we'll have to continue. He gets Kemp sets up, looks like it's designated, and it is because you can see the guard Hara pull out the block. Designated pocket outside. He gets outside, looks downfield, holds up, then recoils and hits Ron Brown right there. Almost got a first down.
You know, watching Jeff Kemp operate with this movable pocket and watching Montana and Theismann, guys who roll, you used to roll out. What do you think of Doug Flutie's chances in the NFL?
Oh, I think Doug Flutie, I wouldn't hesitate one bit if I was a head coach and I was making the final decision on drafting and had a need at quarterback. I would not hesitate to make Doug Flutie my #1 quarterback. I think he's a kid that proved that he can win. He's charismatic. He makes things happen. People seem to rally around him. He's, I think, a truly outstanding player and certainly qualified to be a #1 draft choice in the National Football League.
Do you believe, Terry, as some say, that if he goes to a team with an offense like that, or a more conservative or conventional offense, they'll have to rebuild the offense around him?
They would need an offense that is based on a U-back or an H-back offense where they have a lot of people in motion, a single back where they can move him outside into the pocket, get him outside, utilize his athletic skills. If you have 2 backs back there, then you have a lot of play action. He'd have to sit back in there, and quite honestly, I think he would have some trouble, but not a great deal of trouble, of throwing from the pocket. He is a pocket passer. I think an H-back system would be the ideal situation for him.
Well, he's a deserving candidate for the Heisman, and he won it. Coming up at halftime, scores and highlights with Brent Nerve. Barry Red and Eric Dickerson to the split backs on 3rd down and 1. David Hill in motion. Dickerson for the first down at the 31-yard line. That is his 15th carry in the first half, and he's got 15 carries for 74 yards. He exploded in the final quarter against Tampa Bay last week for 124 yards.
That's not bad, is it?
Per quarter.
That's amazing. Well, this guy is, you know, he himself is a pass. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, 4 or 5 plays, but then he's 80 yards, and then he turns around, he's 80 yards again. I mean, the guy is an unbelievable running back. That's all you can say about it.
I asked him yesterday if he'd ever gotten tired in the game. He said never, going all the way back to his sophomore year at Sealy High School. Sealy, just outside of Houston. Kemp looking deep, going deep. Man is open at the midfield mark. Frank Wantland makes the tackle on Ron Brown. And as Terry said at the top of the show, pay too much attention to Dickerson. Watch out for the sprinters on the play.
Well, they're bringing their safeties up tight to stop that. They come out that time, and boy, they get Brown with that speed. Man, it's fun. You get a guy driving them off and coming back, pitch and catch.
I won't say they're disinterested spectators, but they're not exactly brimming over with enthusiasm right now, the guys on the sidelines. Jimmy Rogers, Richard Todd, and Earl Campbell.
Well, in all my years of playing, one thing we could not dare do, was sit on our helmets during a game.
That's a fine, isn't it?
Well, he may not get fined, but you get a pretty good tongue lashing come Monday morning.
Don't see it a lot. Here's the first half, 5 of 12. He has already surpassed the number of throws made last week. Draw play, Dickerson. Ricky Jackson. No, it's Bruce Clark, number 75.
Bruce Clark did a good job that time of getting up really off the ground and making the tackle. Looked like Dickerson was going to get outside and make a lot of yardage that time, but Clark, boy, with a lot of hustle, got up and made the tackle. Now they're in the quick offense. You're going to see it again, a little quick draw there.
1:37 to go in the half, and the clock running. Flip out to Eric Dickerson, breaks the tackle. And Kovach finally gets him at the 37-yard line, but that'll move the sticks for a first down.
Well, guess whose tackle he broke? He broke Ricky Jackson's tackle. You know, and then he, with that great power we've been talking about, got back inside. Boy, made a first down on that.
1:12 to go in the half. Oops. Mix-up on the play as George Farmer was the intended receiver on what Kemp thought was going to be a quick screen, but Farmer had headed downfield.
Well, that's one of those things. If you have a quick screen, the guy's pressing him like that, it's a dead issue. There's no way you complete it, make any yardage. He just threw it away, and that was smart of him. Clock start. Now we're going to regroup, call ourselves 2 more plays here. Hopefully we can get that ball down there and get the field goal. Right now we're shooting for a field goal. We at least want to get 3 points out of this.
Excuse me. Go ahead, Terry.
Go ahead, Vern.
Oh, you first.
Well,
Second down and 10. That's all I was going to say. And I know whatever you had to add was more insightful than that.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Second and 10. Incomplete. Behind the intended receiver, James McDonald, the tight end, number 83.
One of the things that Jeff's going to have to learn as quarterback, and he will in time as he plays more, is when you have those guys open, you have linebackers underneath or inside, you got to put that football up a little bit. You got to take a little of that steam or that smoke off of it. Coach Robinson, John Robinson said, you know, this guy's got a strong arm. He really doesn't take a lot off of it. Look at that. That ball's flying in there. And all he had to do was just lay it up a little bit, make a nice, easy catch that time for James McDonald.
Robinson had a great way of describing the arm. He said Jeff Kemp has a 2-iron. He doesn't have a 7-iron in his bag. Every shot is a 2-iron. Under pressure, passes made. Barry Rick out of bounds with a first down at the 23-yard line.
Well, I tell you, number 9 did an outstanding job that time of standing his ground. These people know he's going to drop back there. He's going to throw the football, and they're going to try to get a shot on this young fella. As you can see, he stopped. They got the Games Jackson outside. He steps up in the pocket, and right there, boy, they unload on him, and he gets that football out and really does an outstanding job of leading Redding out, who does a good job of catching the football and getting that first down and stop the clock.
Marvelous job once again by the offensive line of the Rams. Doug Smith at center, Kent Hill and Dennis Harrow the guards, and Bill Bain and Irv Pankey the tackles. Kemp has not been sacked yet today. Again with time. Good defensive work. He lobs it out, caught by his tight end, Mike Barber. And Barber is down to the 14-yard line, and timeout is called by Jeff Kemp as Ricky Jackson makes the tackle.
Boy, I tell you, the right side of their offensive line that time, Harrow, number 60 at right guard, and Bain, 62 at tackle, 81 also. You can see that David Hill, look at the job that Bain does. Boy, he just sticks him in there and driving him, pushing him back. Look at this. Get out of the way. Don't hit my guy. Boy, that's a great job that time.
Timeout. At the end of the last catch by Mike Barber, there was a fumble that apparently we missed.
Well, we were over here talking about Bill Bain and what a great job he did. Now Mike gets the football and he's hitting the ground, and they say that the ground can't cause a fumble. Now let's see what happens. There's the football right there, number 57, Ricky Jackson picks it up. Now they say the ground can't cause a fumble, so actually what that should be, that ball should be ruled dead right there, and these Rams ought to be going in for at least another touchdown or a field goal.
Well, the crowd has just realized what happened about the same time we did, as all of a sudden the Saints have the ball with 46 seconds to go. But if the ground cannot cause a fumble, that should not have been a fumble. Quick pitch, Junior Miller to the 23-yard line. Jim Collins, number 50, made the tackle. Saints will hurry without a huddle as the clock winds down. 28 seconds to go.
Second quarter score, Seattle 21, Detroit 17.
Wilson back.
He's got him if he'll get it. Whoop. Off Dallas throw, incomplete. He had Tyrone Young. Tyrone Young was he was a good 5 yards deep. That time he had Gary Green, 27, beat, had him underneath, and David actually was on the rollout, but heck, if he could have stopped and fired that football out there, that was a touchdown. Sometimes corners can get lulled to sleep. Now David's looking to his left. Boy, he freezes. Look at the safeties. They all go where his eyes are. Now he gets out of the pocket, but he can't get the ball out of his hands to throw deep enough. He underthrows it, almost intercepted. Tyrone Young comes back, tried to prevent the interception, but number 22 that time, Vince Newman, a strong safety, Newsom, he went ahead and dropped it for him. That's hard to do, though. Get out on the run, try to throw that ball 60 yards in the air. Awful hard to do, you bet.
3rd and 3 with 12 seconds to go in the first half. I'd say that was conservative.
Well, we got 4 seconds, 3 counting down. You know, that's what they wanted to do. They want to get out of here and not have a turnover or anything. That's what you got.
Gun sounds. And the Rams, after piling up a 24-0 lead, hold on to a 24-7 lead at halftime. It all began with Leroy Irvin's pass interception, which he returned 51 yards for a touchdown. And then the onslaught began as Jeff Kemp and Eric Dickerson and the Los Angeles Rams extended their lead to 24-0 before Dave Wilson replaced Richard Todd at quarterback midway through the second quarter and led the Saints to an 80-yard drive and the touchdown catch to Lindsey Scott. That made it 24-7. The Rams are going for what appeared to be a field goal at the end of the first half. And all of a sudden, there was a fumble, and that's the way we ended halftime. That's the end of the first half with our score, the Los Angeles Rams 24 and the New Orleans Saints 7.